Hi, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to another episode of Fox Talks. Tonight we have a real special guest. It's Ryan Boyd, the Executive Director of WCAT. So welcome, Ryan. How are you doing tonight?
How you doing, Brian? I'm doing great, thank you.
One, thank you for giving me the opportunity / forcing me to do this show. It's something you had wanted me to do for a while, and here I am, and I finally get you as a guest.
Yep. You
So
convinced
thank you for that.
Much like I peer pressured you into, doing things. You're now peer pressuring me into being on this show. So I finally cracked. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, I should note, the board had recommended that Ryan do this show because there's one thing he doesn't like, and it's being interviewed or appearing on camera. So this is a really big thing for him tonight.
Yeah. We got to pull the Band-Aid off, I would say, and get more used to it. Because if I'm going to be the face of the place, I gotta get out there and start talking to people more. So this is great, though. It really is.
So Ryan, how did you get involved in public access television in the first place?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. So I went to college for video production. I went to Elon University down in North Carolina. And while I was there, I had an internship at a small production company, and that sort of cemented for me the desire to work in a small community type of place that was going to be working with folks within the community and making videos for them and for the message that they want to get across. And so I ultimately, that was my goal, was to do that. And after I graduated, it was 2008, and that was when the financial crisis hit. I had moved back home to Massachusetts, and couldn't find a job. So I packed up my car and I moved to Los Angeles. So I was out there for like a year, and before I realized it just wasn't the place for me. It was a great time. It's where I met my now wife. But from there, I moved to Washington, D.C. to work for a political advertising firm. So did a lot of those types of videos for about 4 years. And by the time that was over, my wife and I decided we wanted to, try to start a family and move back home. So I was looking for jobs in the New England area, and was able to get the job at WCAT through an old friend of mine from high school who worked at WCAT at the time. He had basically said, we got an opening here. Why don't you apply for it? So I did. Flew up, and met with Tom Stapleton, the former executive director. And that was pretty much, that was it. We got along very well, and he ended up offering me the job, and so we got to move back home, and it was great, and I've been here ever since.
So what did you want to do when you were down studying how to do this kind of work down in college? Like, what was your ultimate goal? Was it to go to Hollywood and work on movies, or was it to work in TV, or do you have something in mind, or just whatever you could get?
Yeah, no, I always sort of made the joke that I didn't have like the delusions of grandeur that I was going to go be a Hollywood whatever, What I really wanted to do was work in a small place that was going to focus on smaller projects, whether it was community based or small business stuff or whatever it might be, because I really like working with people, and I really think that a lot of people aren't able to get the message out that they want to get. I mean, in this day and age, everyone has their phone and YouTube and everything that they want to do, but not everyone has the direction. Not everyone knows exactly, what they're supposed to do to get that message out effectively. And so my focus really was to try to find a smaller place where I could help out and work within the community to try to help those types of folks that they had an idea, they had something that they wanted to get across, but they just weren't quite sure how to do it. So that's been my goal all along. And I feel actually very lucky that that's what I get to do for my job. It's very rewarding for me, and I really enjoy it.
So you've been the executive director for not quite a year yet.
In about 8 months now. Yeah,
About
not.
8 months.
Yeah.
What's the biggest transition like?
Sure. Yeah, like the biggest hurdle I've had to
Yeah, that's the words I want to
do.
use. Hurdle.
Yeah, sure. Honestly, it's just learning the ropes of it. Um, you know, Tom had been executive director for 14 years. He could do the job in his sleep, you know. Um, and before he left, he taught me what he could, but so much of it is just stuff you have to sort of do and live through to to get the hang of. Um, and so the biggest hurdle really has just been sort of that adjustment of okay, like something comes up, and before it was okay, Tom, this came in, I don't know what you want to do with this. Now it's okay, this came in, I got to figure out what to do with this now. And so it's just working together with our team, Ian, Adam, and Barbara, to come up with solutions to the problems that we have, and or ideas for projects or whatever it might be.
So how big is your staff at WCAT?
There's 4 of us. 4. There used to be 5.
That's it.
Yep. When Tom was still here, there were 5 of us. I had the plan to, after Tom left, to replace my old position. But we just, we started working and going through the process and interviews and things like that. And when it came down to it, we sort of just looked at it and said, we would love to hire somebody, but I'm not sure now is the right time for it. So we have 4 full-time staff members right now, with the hope that, we'll hire on a 5th person at some point, whether it's full-time or part-time or, contract or whatever it might be. But especially now in this COVID world, we're working from home for the most part, the need to have that 5th person really isn't there much, because we do have just a different way of working now, and if we were to bring in a new person, the training that's involved with all that and having to do stuff from home, it's just complicated. So we're sticking with 4 for now, and then I'm sure in the future we'll get that 5th person.
What kind of activities is WCAT involved in the community?
All sorts of stuff. We cover events from town meeting to the 4th of July parade to graduation, the promenade before the kids go to prom, festivals and things of the sort. We 6 years ago, we started Movies by the Lake, down in the Common, which has been, just in my eyes, a big success. It's been great. We always draw a crowd. We get our sponsors for it that generously pay for the movies, the cost that it is that it costs to put them on. And that's always a lot of fun. We did have to cancel it this year because of everything that's going on, which was disappointing. But we're hardly the only ones that had to go through that. But we so those are just sort of the events that we do. But we work very closely with the departments in town, people like the food pantry and DPW and town hall and all of those folks, trying to do projects with them, help them get the word out on what they're doing, and anything we can do to help, we try to make sure we are there to do it.
So Tom was such a public figure in town. I think everyone knew him.
Mm-hmm.
How are you trying to get the word out of, who you are, especially at times like this? Aside from doing this interview.
Yeah, sure.
It must be difficult.
Well, yeah, it has its challenges. I don't live in town. I live far away from town, actually. So, I'm not out at the local stores and restaurants and things like that. It does inhibit me from joining some of the stuff that I otherwise probably would if I was living in town. So we're pretty active on Facebook and social media, and I think folks get to know us a bit more through that, and starting to do things like this is hopefully will help as well. But I think that there's more to be done. Certainly, newsletters, things of the sort. Maybe doing PSAs or even just shows or interviews within our studio, amongst the staff to get to know each of us better a little bit would be a great thing to start doing. I know discussions have been had amongst the staff and the board to figure out, okay, like how do we want to go from here and to get the word out about us a bit more and about the people who work here and all of that. Because my main goal is I want WCAT to be an approachable place where people are comfortable to come and get their message out to the community. And I think that, we have been that for a very long time. And I want to make sure that continues. And if we can improve upon it even more, then, that's the goal. We exist because of the community. If folks lose interest, then there's not much hope for us, at the end of the day. So we need to do our part to make sure that folks know we are here for you, and we are ready to help you with whatever project it is that you are looking to get done.
Now, let's say someone wanted to have a show on the station, such as this one. How would they go about doing that?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, you can you call us up, or you can email us, or talk to us on Facebook. The number is 781-224-0300, or you can email info@wcat.tv and just introduce yourself. Let us know what it is you're looking to do. And, depending on how complicated it is, we can get started right away, or we would sit down, talk with you about your idea, come up with a plan or two of how we can execute it, especially in this time, whether it is through Zoom or, in the studio with safety precautions taken. And, we're always happy to be there to listen to an idea and to help someone out with it.
Have there been any ideas that someone suggests to you and you're like, we just can't make that work, it's just too crazy for whatever reason? Or kind of like, you have a show like Wayne's World's a joke that there's some public access on like Fridays at 11 o'clock. And
so
how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so the folks at home don't see the Zoom thing here right now, but there is a third person on here who's producing this, Adam Nessel. He, since pretty much the week he started, has been trying to hawk a game show idea to us.
Yeah, approach me about that game show.
Yeah, idea. Of course he did.
So
because you would be the guy. Yeah. And I mean, it's too outlandish, or we can't do it. It is let's do that, and we need to figure out what it's going to be about. I'm all for a good, crazy idea. We just got to make sure we know how to do it, how to pull it off the right way, So that would be the one I want to see the most. The craziest idea that I really want to see would be some sort of game show at WCAT. I mean, whether that's even like a trivia show for students, maybe they have teams, they come in, they compete with questions that are on a high school level or something of the sort. And I would love to see something like that, with maybe even scholarship money for the people who win at the end of the year or something. I think you could pin students against teachers, students against students. Something really good could happen there, I think. So a game show idea, I would love to see. I think it'd be so much fun to do.
How do you get the funding at the station? I know that you're a cable access station, but I don't write a check directly to you. So
Sure.
How do you get funded? There's no commercials.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So there is a bit of a misconception about how we get funded. A lot of people think it's through taxes, and that your tax money is going to us to fund us, which isn't the case. The townspeople are funding us, but it's just through a different way. So your cable bill, if you have Comcast, Verizon, or RCN in town, on your cable bill, you will see a franchise fee in the line item, and it's usually like $7 a month, $5, something pretty minimal. So we get 5% of the gross revenue for cable from those stations, or the town can get up to 5%, I should say. The town, I think, currently is getting 4.5%. And then that money is split 1/4, 3/4, or 1/3 and 2/3 between us and the high school. So the high school has a television program there, and they get some of that money to fund that, and we get the rest of it. So we are funded by that franchise fee through the cable companies.
What's been your favorite thing about working at WCAT?
Oh God, the people. Easily the people. The people that work there, the people that we deal with on a regular basis. It is hard to find a place where you really feel comfortable and like you want to continue staying there. I feel like, whether it's a job or a place you live or whatever it might be, there is something very special about Wakefield, and the townspeople are passionate about what they're passionate about, and they'll stop at nothing to get done what they want to get done, and it's kind of a thrill to work with folks like that because they have their vision, they have their ideas, and and we are there to try to help them if we can, and it's that, to me, that's the fun part of it, because on a regular basis we'll get folks, we from all, from the spectrum, really. It's you got folks that come in, they say, I think I have an idea and I have no idea what I'm doing. So then that we really have to sit there and go, okay, how are we going to execute this and make it be the best that we can make it be? And then we have other folks who come in and they say, here's my idea. I know exactly what I want to do. I can take care of it. Just give me the space and the equipment, And so those are the people we go, okay, cool. We'll show you a few things and then have at it, So it's really interesting because it's just every show is different and everything production we do has its own little flavor and flair. And it's just really fun to be a part of because you get to know people, you get to know who they are and what they're passionate about and the stuff that they really enjoy. And it's just, it's awesome. I mean, I never thought I'd meet someone like you, and like, you're like,
lucky, I know.
It's like Mr. Wakefield over here. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think I first met you, must have been 4th of July stuff or something of the sort, and then, we sort of just struck up friendly conversations through there. And then I spent time trying to convince you to join the board. And then you started a show, and then it's just, things sort of progress and you get to just know people here in town. And it's really pretty awesome.
Do you think that's something that you'd almost be lacking in if you worked at another company as opposed to in this role?
Yeah, I think to a certain degree I probably would. I mean, one thing that's always come easy to me is I'm pretty good at talking with folks. I can connect with people for the most part. I'm very fortunate in that. So, in the other places I have worked, I make friends and get to know people, and it's great. But like, for example, my previous job at the political stuff, the people that worked there, you get to know very well, but the clients you work with, you don't get to know at all. Maybe you meet a politician and you shake hands and then you never talk to them again, because the mission's over and that's all that matters. So it's a very different world, and this is the one that I prefer because you do get to know these folks and you get to see them, and when you're out in town, you get to have a conversation and say hi, and that's what it's all about for me.
What kind of training would someone need if they wanted to do TV production these days?
Yeah,
if you're that young kid and you like watching YouTube videos, maybe you want to make your own.
Yeah, I would suggest, first and foremost, give us a call. Come on in. Let us know what it is you want to learn, because we have interns usually in the summertime. We've had student helpers from the high school, and what we typically do with them is at the very first day that they're in, we kind of sit them down and we say, how do you want this to be for you? We can treat you sort of with kid gloves and make it so that things are a bit easier for you, and teach you that way. Or we can treat you like if you were going out on a shoot professionally, and we just throw you in and treat you like you should know what you're doing already. So do you want sort of that real world flavor from a shoot, or do you want us to be a little more friendly about it, you know? And then we go about it that way, however, whatever the person says. We've had folks say, you know, both of them. So, you know, we will train you on the cameras, on editing, on using the switcher, sound, any of that stuff you might need. We offer podcasting and things like that. So, I mean, Adam's our pretty much our podcasting guy, and he's trained plenty of people on how, you know, what are the best ways to have a show? What's an effective way to get your message across that's not going to bore people, but keep them engaged and keep them coming back. And so I'd say anyone who wants to learn that stuff or wants to learn a little bit more about it, I mean, just let us know. That's why we're here to help with that.
You do a lot of live stuff now. You know, cover the 4th of July Parade live, town meetings. What are the challenges in trying to do those live events?
The challenges of those, technology is always the number one challenge. Technology is your best friend until it's not. And you know, there's plenty of times that you test everything out and it's going great, and then you walk away from it and you say, great, it'll be this way tomorrow too. And you come back in and do the actual shoot. And you come back in the next day and then all of a sudden something's not working right. And you go, why? What happened? You know? And so it's, you have that time where you have to figure things out and make sure it's working right. And thank God we have Ian McDermott, because he is our guy for that. We always make the joke, it's like a beautiful mind. You know, he's got things kind of cranking away in there all the time and trying to figure stuff out. And so it's the biggest challenge is the technology, making sure it's working properly and doing what making sure it's behaving and doing what it's supposed to do. After that, it's a lot easier. After that, for live stuff, it's timing things. So, you know, someone's talking, you make sure you bring up the lower third. They have a PowerPoint, you're bringing that up in time, cutting away and doing the things you're supposed to do, to make sure that we don't have to go back and edit things after the fact, because it moves quickly. So you want to, if you're switching and cutting things live, you want it to be sort of as close to perfect as you can, so that when it's done, you just ship it out and you're done with it, you know? So I think that's probably the biggest challenge that we have.
So right now we're on Zoom. How has that worked out for you guys? You know, instead of you know, having the school committee, town council going to you, where you have a controlled environment, you've now got people on Zoom. They may be using a cell phone, laptop camera. There may be terrible lighting. They may not have the camera on at all. Like, how are you handling that?
Yeah, I mean, it's with very basic guidelines. You know what I mean? It's not everyone's technology or internet is the same. So we do have plenty of people who drop out or you know, it gets that weird sort of sound and cuts out halfway through and stuff like that. And there's not much we can do in that scenario. You know, all we can really do is suggest things. Try this, try that. You know, if it's not working here, get off Zoom, do the call-in number, be on your cell phone, stuff like that. One of the biggest issues we have is when we have to do a bit of a hybrid situation. So we say we have some folks in studio, but we also have folks on Zoom, and you gotta sort of marry those two together so everyone works cohesively and it all fits together. Again, thank God we have Ian, because he's the one who figures that stuff out. And so there's just extra steps involved. You know, there's connecting this to that and routing it around this way and making sure everything goes into the system of the way it's supposed to do. And I think we do a pretty good job with it. And I'm very pleased with how it's all worked out so far. I will say that before all of this got going, before, you know, COVID hit and all of that, Mass Access, which is a Massachusetts organization for local community access TV, they hold a couple of conferences a year, usually one in the fall, one in the spring. And we had gotten a call from one of the board members of Mass Access who, just, I guess through the grapevine, they had gotten word that we had started doing so much online streaming and coverage of the things that we do. So they had asked us to be part of a panel at the next conference to discuss what have we done and how have we gotten there, which was a pleasant surprise to get, you know, because we were just doing our thing and trying to make sure that we could get our things out to the folks in the town however we could. And so to know that other towns have picked up on that and seen what we've been doing was a really nice thing to hear, and to get recognition for. And unfortunately, that conference got canceled, so we're not going to be able to do it. But but I think that in certain ways we've challenged what can be done with Access TV and how the processes can go. And I think that it's been working out very well for us. I mean, we have a great relationship with the folks in town and with the people who run the town. And I think that our ability to sort of rise up to the occasion when they ask us to do things, and things that aren't the normal stuff in the studio, but things out on location and stuff like that. I think it's been very good for us, and I'm hoping that it shows that we really are capable of so much, and really whatever folks need and want to have happen, we can do for them.
I know recently you had a company come in there and do a shoot inside the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of activity something you encourage businesses to look into, or?
Well, I mean,
it's not the norm for you.
It's not the norm, I would say, but it is something that happens. We have a pretty good studio space, in a large studio in the back of the school there. So we do occasionally get companies that come in and say, "Hey, look, we heard about your space. We heard about your studio. We have this thing going on. Can we rent it out? Can we rent you guys out? Can we rent some of this equipment out, for the day or for a couple of days?" And when that happens, it's great. You again get to bring new people in, show them what you do and all that stuff. So it does happen. And never discourage folks from trying to use what we do. So I think it's great.
I say one thing is you have an amazing staff working at WCAT.
Yes, we do.
Whenever I have an event going on, if Barbara reaches out to me for slides, hopefully I send her them the right way she likes it. And she puts things together and puts it on Facebook or on TV. Before the 4th of July parade last year, I got a call. I was at work on the second or third, and this guy called me and said, "I have a member of the Pretenders, not the Pretenders, who am I kidding? Can't think of the name of the group now. They do The Great Pretender." He said, "Oh, he's coming to be at your parade. Can we get review stand tickets?" I said, "Can you sing a song?" So here's July 3rd at 5 o'clock. And I'd already talked to you guys at the Civic Center. And I called Ian at home, and I'm like, "What do I have to do to get this guy to be able to sing at the review stand?
I remember
what can we do?" And it's 5 o'clock the day before a holiday. You guys were going nuts all day getting set up. And I throw this thing at him at the last minute. And as always, he makes it work.
Oh, yeah.
And Adam sits through each one of my shows, and he edits things and puts it together.
Torturously, just sitting there getting it done.
And he just gets it done. And he's taking care of all these programs from home. And it's amazing how you guys have come together as a group. And I really commend you for it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, nobody gets anywhere alone. The team we have is outstanding. It really is. I think we work very well together. I think we work very hard to make sure that we are doing the best job that we can. And I think it's only, at least for me, everyone that works here has only proven it more since we've had to sort of go into self-isolation. We could easily make this, say, "Oh, it's a bit of a holiday because, we don't have to go in, we don't have to do this thing, whatever." We're getting more things to cut together now than we ever were before. We're getting all the committee meetings from the town now that weren't being covered before. People are recording them on Zoom, and we have to kind of put, edit things at the front and back of them to make sure folks know what's going on with them and all of that. Adam is at home with 2 newborns trying to figure that out, and we're just keep piling things at him to edit, and without he doesn't miss a beat on it. He's constantly just turning them out, and it's pretty remarkable. Barbara is just, she's like the adult in the room, we like to say. She's the one who she keeps the calendar, and is if we ever miss something, she's pointing it out, saying like, we got this here, that, and we're doing this, and it's like, oh yes, thank God, or thank you, you know. And again, he's our beautiful mind with the technology, and he's figuring all that stuff out, and it's remarkable. It really is. I'm very proud of the team that we have, and I cannot say enough good things about them. They deserve whatever praise they get from other people too. That's for sure.
So as we wrap this up, with this being one of your big introductions to town as director, since you hate publicity, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, get me back on these types of shows. This is fun. This is good, you know?
I've been interviewed by you countless times, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a great time. I think the biggest thing I want to say is just that we're here. We're here, and we don't have any intention of going anywhere. So if you've got an idea for a show, for a podcast, documentary, movie, I don't care what it is, an event of some sort you want covered, give us a call, let us know. We exist for the community is right in our title, you know, and we're fortunate that our community is a pretty active one, and we do get utilized a lot, which is excellent. But there can always be more, and there can always be more folks that I'm sure might end up watching this that hopefully will say, I have had a show idea I've wanted to do, or I have wanted to do an interview with this person, or just talk about this subject, whatever it might be. And I want to get them in and make sure that they can get that done, I mean, or even if they don't want to come in, they shoot it on their cell phone, give us the footage, we'll air it for you, and it's just, I can't emphasize it enough. That's what we want. We want folks to be getting their message out there. And I don't, doesn't really matter what it is. It's we got shows on opera, we got shows on writing, we got shows on religion, we got everything, and there's no sort of dumb idea. And if you have one, come talk to us about it.
Brian, it's great to talk to you as always.
Likewise, my friend.
Be seeing you out there soon.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.